Hey guys, it's the Wandering Rogue, back again with another video. Now, Nintendo has just taken down Ryujinx, and it sparked a pretty big conversation about the whole ordeal, so let's talk about it. Now, I want to preface by saying this. I love emulation a lot. Emulation has been the go-to way for me to play a lot of older games as a kid, since growing up I didn't really have easy access to them, and they were also very expensive even all the way back then. One game in particular was Super Mario Bros. 3. I actually remember playing that as one of my first games through emulation on an NES emulator. And more recently now, I've come to also buy a lot of the games that I've emulated. Now, one such example happens to be Super Mario RPG. This was a game I really liked a lot when I got to play it on an emulator, but I never obviously had the chance to buy it because, for one, SNES games are no longer being sold, and two, I even if I could get them, they were very expensive. But thankfully, because of the remake of Super Mario RPG, I was finally able to buy the game that I've been really wanting, and I would not have been able to buy it, or wouldn't have been able to buy it, had I not emulated it previously. I'm starting off this conversation by saying simply, I feel like, and in general, Nintendo really hates emulation, and they've been historically very much against it. So I want to quickly talk about this, so let's waste no more time and jump into it. Now, it's pretty obvious to all of us that Nintendo really hates emulation. I mean, given their long track record for going after these sites, it should be unsurprising. And on top of that as well, they're very bad when it comes to how fan games work. Now, this is where we enter Ryujinx. Now, Ryujinx isn't the only Switch emulator. In fact, the other one also got taken down by Nintendo, and that happens to be Yuzu. I'm not going to talk too much about the story of it because it's been a while since that happened, and a lot of bigger creators actually already talked about this. But the general idea is that Yuzu got taken down because of them pirating Tears of the Kingdom at launch before the game even came out. And what ended up happening was they were giving away their emulator with Tears of the Kingdom already fully playable on it. And Nintendo really hated that, so they unsurprisingly sued them and Yuzu settled out of court. This is very unfortunate for the emulation scene because it was a massive blow. But in the case of Ryujinx, they weren't really doing anything like that. In fact, they've been very secure about it ever since they've been supporting it. Now, because of all this, it kind of begs the question as to why it got taken down and why exactly Nintendo decided to just take them down out of nowhere. Now, one of their contributors on Discord went and posted this on their Discord server. Now, which states, I'm not going to read this entire thing word for word, but what it states is that Nintendo offered him an agreement to stop working on the project. Now, from what I've also heard as well, the creator actually happens to be Brazilian. Now, I'm not fully sure how Brazilian laws work, but they are very much different compared to how they work in the US. So it's not like Nintendo can easily take them down as they would, say, Yuzu, which was a US operated one. But the thing is that Ryujinx didn't really do anything wrong here. It's more so just Nintendo's petty greed that seems to be causing this problem right now, and that sucks. Now, it's pretty unsure as to what Nintendo actually offered them. I highly doubt it would be anything that would cause a massive lawsuit, but it does seem like this is the end for Ryujinx. Thankfully, though, this is a open source emulator, and because just kind of like Yuzu, it's already being forked as we speak. I wouldn't be surprised if like someone just makes it and it just goes up online later on. But I do apologize for this being a little bit more of a shorter video. I do want to make more like long form 10-minute videos, but it's hard to do these kinds of projects, especially when you're someone who procrastinates a lot. What I do really want to do though is that I really want to start working on some more kind of content, and I also want to thank you guys for 30 views on my previous video. It really does mean a lot having an audience like this, and in this day and age where there's a lot of YouTubers who tend to be not as great with their audience anymore, I really want to do more things with you guys, but as always, I want to wait for see what happens You also do work as well, so that does cause a lot of problems for me. Anyways, I thank you so much for your time, and as always, please make sure to leave a like and subscribe. This is the Wandering Rogue signing off. Good night.